Hi, welcome to Superintendent's Corner. I am Brendan Jackson here with Mr. Tim Saxton, Superintendent of Boardman Local Schools. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
We've had a really good run in fall sports. Let's talk about a school record first. Our boys golf team has made state for 3 years in a row. I understand you were in Columbus for the first round.
Absolutely. It was just a beautiful day, if you remember last Friday. I know it's mid to late October here. The sun's out, it was 70-some degrees, and our golfers aren't used to that at state level. In fact, last year we went down, it got rained out, it almost snowed, it felt like, but beautiful day. Our golfers just have had one tremendous run, and it's bittersweet. Excited to see them play down there against the best competition in the state of Ohio, but you know that a couple of them are moving on to the college level to compete. So it's the last time they're actually going to play together, but it was exciting to watch those kids play. Whether it was Cade or the two Bryans, Bobby or Cole. Cole obviously is coming back, but the other four are moving on to the collegiate level. They finished fifth, which is their best finish. They were just a couple strokes out of getting third. It was a long shot to take first. They've taken eighth when they were sophomores, sixth when they were juniors, and then fifth this year. But it's just one of the best runs we've had, probably the best run we've had for a team for golfers. They're exciting to watch. I golf a little bit on the side as a recreational golfer, and I'm watching these 16 to 18-year-olds play the game on some of the toughest greens I think I've ever seen, and it's very humbling to see high school students be able to manage the game that well. So just a real compliment to them, and a real source of pride for the Boardman schools.
Yeah, it really is. Golf is pretty underappreciated than all the other sports, but it's very difficult and very great for them to have achieved so much.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Let's talk about some of our other fall sports. With senior night coming up for football this week, I've noticed that you've been at almost every single senior night for the past 4 years that I've been at the school. What does it mean to you? Like, why is it so important for you to be there?
I just if you know me long enough, I don't really like to brag about too many things, but there's one thing I brag about. I've been in education for 30 years, and I've never missed a Friday night or Saturday, it depends on the game, or Thursday football game. So this is 30 years, and one day I took the time and counted. Last Friday was my 310th straight high school football game without missing. That includes my sister getting married. Now, I just missed the rehearsal dinner. And my daughters all know that you don't get married in the fall when you're a Saxton. But in part of those years we're coaching. I started my educational career as a teacher and a coach on the sidelines. And like you said, you see me now. I just feel at home being on the sidelines. It's where I like to watch the game. I was blessed to play the game. But it's just I love high school football. And obviously I love watching our Spartans. So love to see them get a victory Friday night, last one here at our home stadium. I'd love to see them somehow, some miracle, get a home playoff game. It would take a lot of dominoes to fall in place, but most likely we'll still be in the playoffs. Might have to travel a little bit, but it'll be exciting to see how far the Spartans can go. With our up and down season, I think it's still pretty impressive and a compliment to our coaches and our players that we have an excellent chance of playing in the 11th week of the season.
And like you just said, I don't think I've ever seen you sitting at a football game, ever.
Yeah, I got my Fitbit on, trying to get my steps in. But I did have one of the reporters said, because you look like an old coach the way you're pacing. I don't know, it's just in the blood. It's fun to watch. I look forward to it.
We'll shift over to Yes Fest now. That just passed. I was very impressed by the speaker of Yes Fest this year. Did you get any kind of feedback from it?
Well, actually, the first feedback I got, it was Friday. It was the first Yes Fest I've missed, so I don't have a streak going for Yes Fest like I have for football games, because we were down, decisions, priorities, and went down to watch the state golf tournament. But as soon as I got home Friday evening, my two daughters were there, just started talking so positive about the impact of the speaker, which is great to hear, because we've had some different speakers, and I know Mrs. Fernback and Miss Bott tried something a little bit different with this speaker, and I know they were a little nervous because of the unknown can be, and I'm just glad to see they hit a home run, so to speak, with the speaker. Just his impact, his connection to our students, his connection to some of the things that some of the programs we have, like the Shield and the Spartan atmosphere here, is great to see. But if you really want to take a look at Yes Fest and what it's created for, a deeper analysis. The speaker is such an important part because it can really makes you connect. It makes you take a look at what your visions are, and a speaker has a good impact. But I really think sometimes we overlook the second piece, and that's when the kids go into the gymnasium and interact with all those different service organizations. And I believe we had over 50 service organizations. A speaker will impact a student's life, definitely for days, for weeks, and for a small percent of kids for years. But the fact that our kids can go into a service organization and give back and find out there's more to life than just themselves. There's a bigger part of life. And if we can teach that to kids, that's going to impact them for a lifetime. And I know that's not something, maybe the Saxon girls don't run home and say, hey, we talked to, the animal shelter. But still, being involved in that and what we can teach kids in that service component, to me, that's a core value in their life that I think is probably the most important piece. It may not be as publicized or as a hot topic to talk about, but it's such an important piece of Yes Fest.
Just a few weeks away from our November 7th election, what do you want to say to voters as far as the school levy renewals are concerned?
Obviously, we are locally funded and we are state funded. The majority of our funding to make all this work, to make sure you have a quality education, comes from our local tax base, our property real estate tax base. Levy renewals are a huge piece of that. So we have two. One is a 5.9 mil current expense levy, and that's for the current expenses of the school. It raises about $4.5 roughly $1 million a year, which is about 10% of our budget. So that's an important piece to us, and we don't ever want to assume that levy renewals are granted, but still, it's a very important piece because as any budget master in someone's own household knows, it seems like your expenditures never really go down. The cost of living, the price of goods, the cost of doing business always seems to be creeping up a little bit. We face the same thing. So renewals just keep us at our same budget. It's not new money. These are just renewing what we're doing. So it's so important to us. The other piece that's very important is the 1.6 permanent improvement. That's a little different. The 1.6, that generates about $1.25 million. That money does not go to the expenses of doing business. It goes into actual physical improvements of the school district. So we've got some wonderful technology here that helps get purchased by the permanent improvement. Any type of facilities improvement. When you look at the band lot needed resurfaced and striped, it looks gorgeous. It's a safety issue. It's also just helps with the overall appearance of the building. That comes from permanent improvement. So HVAC systems. They're not sexy like technology, but important. You go in a classroom and it's 30 degrees in there, it's hard to learn.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that is, we forget about that, but that's an important piece too. So both those are renewals. The taxes stay the same, but it's an important piece of how we keep the schools open and running effectively.
And can we have an update on the Here Comes the Bus app?
Yeah, great app, launched it last year. We would love to have had that available on day one. I don't know if that will ever happen because of the way bus routes are created and tweaked this first couple weeks. The other piece was we have a brand new transportation supervisor. So not only did we have the bus routing to be optimized, but we had a new person in leadership. So that delayed us a little bit, but it has been officially launched. So I just want the public to know if they have a student that's on our bus ridership, get that app activated. The app was updated by the company over the summer, so you make sure you have the latest version. We use a support email, boar.hctb@boardmanschools.org. If there's any problems, we have a tech dedicated to solving the data issues, and it takes about 24 hours because the data gets updated overnight, so we can't always solve them instant. But we do address them, and so if you have an issue, please let us know. We want to get it corrected. We want people to have a great experience with that app.
Nice. Your transportation garage is almost finished. Do you have an update there?
Absolutely. That's been a big project. Like most things, our goal was to have that open for the first day, just kind of like the Here Comes the Bus. But you got to shoot for those and then adjust accordingly as life realities adjust your plans. We are probably within 30 days of being able to park buses on that property. The paving's down. we are installing the conduits down, and people are what do you need conduit for? Why? Which is usually for electrical work. They forget we have diesel buses, and when it's really cold out, if you don't keep those engines warm, the buses won't start. So on those really cold days, if the buses don't start, then we can't have school. Now I know you'd probably like that, but parents wouldn't and we wouldn't. So what people don't realize is the amount of electricity you have to keep those buses warm so they can start effectively on those very cold winter days. So all that electrical work, we have between 50 and 60 buses that get plugged in on certain nights. There's a fueling station that's complete, plus all the drainage and the water retention. So we're in fencing to make sure that aesthetically it fits in with what the township expects. So 30 days or less, we should be ready to roll. No pun intended.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about today?
You know, it's funny. I sit here and Brandon, I see you a lot at the football games. I know you see me. In fact, I come to a lot of sporting events in the evening, and I think you're there more than I am. It's part of my job, but I also love sports. But it's not really part of your job. I'm just curious. I got a quick question for you. You're there all the time up at that stadium, running the cameras, and first of all, I want just to the BSTN crew, I love the video you guys made before the game about the crew that makes things happen, because I don't think most of our fans and people who watch the games realize that all the replay, all the video work on that board, that's student run under Mr. Clonis. And when they find that out, I think our guests and our parents are just amazed that these are high school students doing this, not professional level people running the video. And you're one of them. Yes. Maybe the one that's there most often. So my question is, what brings you on a school evening to come up to the stadium and to be part of that when you don't have to be there? Mr. Clonis isn't threatening to lower your grade or raise it, but you're there.
I just love it. I love doing anything with tech. I love working with BSTN. I love all the people in this community that have helped me out. It's just, I love it.
It's you can see it. I don't think I've ever walked in a stadium when you're there and you're not smiling. And I guess that's why we build things like that, and that's why we create opportunities, because we're looking for opportunities for students to plug in and find their passion. And when someone finds their passion, it's no longer, quote, a job, it's a labor of love. And I definitely see in your face. So we're very, very blessed to have you. You're not allowed to graduate, so so whatever it takes to be a fifth-year senior, we'd love to have you back. I know it doesn't sound good, but hopefully some of our younger students see your passion and see your dedication, and they've chosen you as a role model, so that program will continue. So, we just appreciate doing what you're doing. Like I said, I love seeing the passion, and that's what makes us Spartans.
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. You didn't think you were going to be interviewed today. You thought you were interviewing people, huh? So.
Well, thank you, Mr. Saxon, for being here today. For BSTN, I'm Brandon Jackson. Have a good day, Spartans.
Hello, and welcome to the School Board Report. I'm McCallum Warwick, speaking with the Board of Education member, Kim Poma. Thank you for being here, Mrs. Poma.
Thank you.
I understand that you are in your 15th year on the Boardman School Board, and that you are retiring from the board this year. Tell us what you've enjoyed the most.
It's been an absolute pleasure serving on the board. I knew I'm going to do this. It started off just as an interest in the administration, the higher management of the district after many years of volunteering. And over the 16 years that I've served, I've had the absolute pleasure of working with a team that's stronger than any I've ever been a part of. It's parents and teachers and administrators and students, the community, and other board members that just really have a passion for Boardman schools and want what's best for the district and for the kids that go here, and it's just been a joy. Because of our work together, we've been able to accomplish some really impactful things. We've gone to all-day kindergarten. We've realigned the 2 middle schools to be age appropriate. We've built the stadium, and now we've added preschool to the elementaries. All really big changes that are good for kids, but most importantly, we've just graduated so many wonderful children to be successful adults in the district and out in the world, and it's just been a joy.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
As people head to the polls on Election Day, November 7th, what's your advice as they choose who would fill the Board of Education seats? What qualities make a good board member?
It's interesting that you asked that this morning, because yesterday there was a Facebook post that asked the same question, and of course I answered it. So the board needs to be diverse to begin with. It can't just be everybody that has the same interests, not all sports minded, or not all music minded, or not all academically minded, but a broad base. A lot of differences cover all the gambit and allows us to be informed and have strong input to the administration. A good board member, to me, has a little bit of everything: a love for the district and the students, of course, but an understanding of business, good financial base, willing to make the tough decisions, because we don't want Mr. Saxton, for instance, to have to do all those tough decisions. Sometimes we want to bear that burden for him. And yeah, a diverse person with a strong skill set that cares about the district and the kids.
Very cool. At the school board meeting this week, the board recognized 2 of our staff members for winning excellence in education awards. Boardman Center Principal Randy Eby and Glenwood Technology Teacher Tim Harker. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Those 2 gentlemen are just examples of the wonderful things that are going on here every day. At the assembly that was sponsored by the Eastern Ohio Education Partnership, 4 of our school buildings were recognized for excellence in education. West Boulevard, Robinwood Stadium, and the high school. So even those buildings had some acknowledgement that day. Tim Harker received the Love of Learning Award, very appropriate, because he has created a program at Glenwood that is just that. It's just different enough from the standard classroom that it intrigues kids and it pulls them in, introduces them to a new style of learning, maybe a little more hands-on, and feeds that love of learning so that hopefully they can take that on into the rest of their lives and continue to learn. And he's a great young man in our district. Randy Eby, the Family Engagement Award as principal at Center. When we realigned and Center Middle School became a 5th and 6th grade building, it was a little bit of a new atmosphere that was necessary, and he had some ideas about how to change the atmosphere in the building, including things like painting walls and putting in a lounge, and he used everybody to do that. His teachers were helping, some people from the community were helping, and it really was engaging all the partners that were going to be sending their kids there and making it a nice experience. So they both did some really remarkable things, thought outside the box, and were recognized for it.
Nice. Again, as a board member with the longest tenure, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I guess I would ask people that are voting or are serving our district just to continue the vision. We've been really just so lucky to have rebounded from some tough things that come from the state financially. We've managed to fill vacancies that surprised us with people that were better than we could have anticipated. Continue that vision. Realize that our people are good, that there are still some great things that we can do here that will make Boardman as remarkable as it has known to be across the state. And some of those things might be a campus here at the high school setting that has more of our students here. Our district is shrinking a little bit, so we need to embrace the families that are here and try and keep them here and make them realize it's a good place to raise kids and to educate our students. So.
Good. Okay, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And and the work that all the school members do. The next school board meeting is Monday, November 20th at Robinwood Elementary. I'm McCallan Warwick for the Boardman Schools Television Network, and have a great day, Spartans.